in 6 to 12 months, maybe next year, maybe next spring, you won't want to miss this, because oftentimes we talk a ton about what buyers can do leading up to their purchase of their home. Today we're going to focus on what sellers can do right now to make big money if they want to sell their house in 6 to 12 months. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane, living in the Denver suburbs. Excited about this one, as oftentimes we don't really focus on this portion when we go to sell a home. Maybe we're focusing on, the days and weeks leading up. Let's get a jump on that. And if you're one of those people planning on jumping on this spring market opportunity where we expect to see a flood of buyers, if you're a seller expecting to capitalize on that, let's dive in. But please first, like, comment, subscribe. All kinds of information on this channel all the time. Give me a comment. Let me know what you want to hear. Would love to continue to connect and serve you in the best way possible, giving you information on real estate in general, but especially in the Denver suburbs and the areas surrounding the Denver metro area. As a Denver native, I love this town, and I love helping people buy and sell real estate right here in the great state of Colorado. So let's kind of get into it. At first, though, I'm going to go over 3 or 4 or 5 things here. If you are interested in my comprehensive list on getting a home prepared to sell, we can have a conversation. I can send you a quick PDF. Please comment, send me the list below, and I'll absolutely get that to you. But for now, let's get right into it. First things first, let's catch up on that deferred maintenance. I know I have a few things, whether it's, painting that banister or, putting that door trim on, or even painting those doors. We pull those doors right out of Home Depot, with the primer. They look, fine. As time, they kind of age and yellow. But more importantly, those youngsters get their dirty paws on there and they show dirt. When they're painted, they're a lot easier to wash and that kind of stuff. So finish those projects, right? That, kind of deferred maintenance. I call it, the last few things that we check off of those major projects that sometimes we don't do, whether it's caulking baseboards or, painting baseboards or all of that stuff, or maybe even putting baseboards on. Make sure we're going through the projects we've had over the last 5 years and making sure that all those boxes are checked and they're fully complete, because when it's go time, we want to focus our, priorities on, patching holes in the wall and, retexturing in small areas, or doing any of those little things that help get it ready for the stagers and get it ready to roll, so we can hit the market with utmost, positive flow and everything's good to go. So next thing is seasonal maintenance. And this is something often we don't think about. When your sprinklers are on, in October, they're turning them off. Get a video of them all working, show the zones, get a video of how you winterize them. Or, say you're turning them on and you're going to sell it the fall or whatever. Get a video of you doing that so that you can just provide that video to the new homeowner and they can easily reference that when it's time to go. Not to mention they can't test sprinklers. They also can't test the AC if the temperature is not above, 55, 60 degrees for a certain amount of time. So get videos of all that and just make sure, provide as much information as you possibly can so that you're putting your best foot forward, so that new homeowners like, oh, this person's taking care of it. They actually, really care, and they take all these steps and they have a pride in home ownership and all of those things. So that beats, explaining it or writing it down. With the power of cell phones now, just take a video, give social proof that it's all in working order at the last time it could be, and then we're ready to go. So anything that goes along with that, make sure we're, getting the furnace and AC service and all of those seasonal things that kind of come into play. That's a great time to make sure that we're documenting everything so that we're handing over the best possible product to the buyer, which means they will want to, pay the top dollar for it when the time comes. And number 3 is just make sure we're decluttering, right? Instead of, going out to all the farmers markets all summer and we know we're going to, sell our house next spring, why don't we, quit doing that, quit bringing things into the home, new decor, all of that. Now, staging is a totally different thing, but if we're just one of those people that, has to get the new holiday thing or the new, whatever, that new vase or piece of art or whatever that you get sucked into when you're at those, wonderful outdoor farmers market kind of fair type places that we have so many of in Colorado. Let's stop doing that. Okay. Let's maybe every Saturday when you go out to the farmers market to get your fruit and vegetables, which is what we should be getting there. Let's take a box to the Goodwill. Let's, pack a box up and put it in storage or whatever that may be, to kind of slowly start to declutter, so it's not a mountain of stuff going on. Because putting your home on the market, there's a ton of things, ton of moving parts, and we want to make sure that we can focus on the things that are most important And over time, we can start to, set ourselves up for success in that area. The next one is organize your finances. This is something that a lot of people don't think. You'd be surprised how many times I'm sitting in a homeowner's house and I'm like, okay, well, where are you going next? They're like, well, we're just gonna purchase a home. This is what we're gonna do. We have all this money down. Well, you still have to get financing. And just because you have all this money down doesn't mean that you can get a loan for what you're doing, especially if you're moving up. You need to probably increase that monthly income. That's gonna increase your debt to income ratio. So we just need to make sure we're in the right spot. Not to say you're not in a great spot as a homeowner and have the equity and can do it, but let's just make sure, because a 720 to 750 credit jump is absolutely something that can get you the very best terms on that new loan. Not to mention, okay, maybe you have a ton of equity in your home. You're thinking about purchasing the next house cash. Well, if we take all that money and put it into a house, we could get a mortgage at a later date. Who knows what that rate will be? We could also look at a reverse mortgage, right? If you're at a certain age, you can, live off that equity and kind of benefit from the equity while you're still here. And, there's options. So let's just look at the options. Let's make sure we're prepared. Let's make sure we have, looked at everything so that we know we're there. If it's just a little bit of a credit bump that's going to give you the best rate, or if it's paying off this debt that's going to, allow your debt to income to be in a position to get the very lowest interest rate, or all those things, let's make sure that we're ready to go, so that that's not something we're doing when we're, stressed about making sure the, curb appeal is excellent. In that first, staging piece is great, or the pictures turn out well. If we can focus on the finances before, make sure we're good to go, plan ahead, then we don't have to worry about that when it's go time, when it's really about getting the house, getting the last few things done to get the house in the market. And the next one, number 5, is probably the most important, especially here in the Colorado market. There's a vast difference, as you saw in the thumbnail, of picture of a house with snow on it and picture of a house that's, vibrant and has the lush lawn and the flowers and all the garden beds popping and all of the colors that come in our summer season, which is right now. Let's get somebody over there to take exterior photos, professional photos, even, with these fancy iPhones and things like that. We just don't have the angles. We don't have, the lenses that really make it pop. So let's get a photographer over there. Hey, Jeremy, we're planning on listing our house next spring. I would love to get my photographer over there, take pictures, take drone pictures, so that when we do go to the market, regardless of if there's snow on the ground or not, in February and March, typically it's pretty brown, a lot of dead, not a ton of, green and colors and flowers. So if we can have those professional photos look absolutely excellent next to, the snow drifts and the other things of the competing homes, we're going to be off to a good start. So if that's the case, please DM me. If you're thinking about it even, we can get some exterior photos right now. If something happens, all good. That's my offer to you. But let's get those photos so that if it is a rough winter, or even, into April, May, and, it didn't get green here until June this year, we can have the very best pictures with the very best curb appeal, show off all that work you've done, and let's make that happen. So no matter what it is, let's raise our hand. Let's get it done. Obviously, if you're watching this in the winter, looking to the summer, there's some other things we can do. Obviously, we're not going to take those exterior pictures, but reach out if that's something you want to do. If you want to hit that next spring, craze, I'm in. Let's get it done. Let's get those photos on the books, and we will absolutely look better when we hit the market than those other homes, which is what we want to do. So, and as you know from watching the channel, you can't time the market absolutely perfect. However, the spring of 2024 is likely to be kind of crazy because the inventory is going to still be suppressed. The interest rates might be down a little bit from where they're at, or they have been over 2023. And if you're ready to hit the market and be a seller in that area, just remember you're going to have to buy. So if you don't have an exit strategy of going to a different state, moving to a cheaper market, or buying with cash or anything like that, just know that competition is going to be there, right? You're going to need more cash. You're going to need more buying power in order to compete on that other side, which as a seller is what we're looking for. So that's why we're talking about this. Now's a perfect time. In February, we're not going to be able to go back and get these beautiful pictures of what your gardens and lawns look like today. So I hope that helps you guys. Please reach out. Again, you can get the list of getting your home ready to sell. You can get those pictures ordered and on the books. If you're, quite certain you're going to put it on the market, let's chat. And then, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Hope this one helped, and look forward to selling your house in 6 to 12 months, or maybe sooner. Maybe reach out and we can have a conversation. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.